existence. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Radiant Black Podcast. This is a podcast where you have to turn to minute number 2 to find out what happens in the rest of the introduction. Just kidding. This is a podcast about Radiant Black by Kyle Higgins, Marcelo Costa, Becca Carey, and Michael Basuto. And the reason we got that funny intro today is because we're going to be talking about Rogue Sun number 7, an amazing issue that I can't wait to talk about. So, yeah, today I'm joined by my friends and my fellow co-hosts, Ali, Charlie, and Matt. How's everybody doing today?
Doing good. It's been a while since I've been on the pod. I missed recording last month, but I'm excited to be back. Excited to talk about Rogue Sun number 7, which was just in one word, amazing.
Doing pretty good as well. Excited to talk about this issue. Been indulged in a lot of awesome movies lately. About to go to Black Adam again after this. I can actually, my dad, he doesn't go to any of these comic book movies, but he has a huge man crush on The Rock, so I can finally get him to go to one. So I'm excited for that. Been doing pretty well.
Yeah.
Excited to hear about your guys' story about meeting Radiant Black himself as well.
Yeah, it was pretty sweet. But yeah, I'm excited to talk about Rogue Sun 7. This is it really makes you feel like the Rogue Sun, picking the order that you want to go through the pages. So yeah, pumped to talk about that, as well as me and Bash meeting Wilfredo today.
You almost said you were hubbed to talk about it, and I was curious. But yeah,
I did have a stroke recently.
Wilfredo, yeah, that was such a good time. What an adventure. I mean, I remember, so I had to get my autograph yesterday. It was all like, get autograph vouchers and everything. So I got my autograph. I picked Radiant Black number 1, and when I went up to him, I talked to him for a bit. I told him we had to get him on the podcast, and he was just like, yeah, for sure, want to get on, talk about Radiant Black. He loves Radiant Black. And then he says we need to work on a catchphrase. And, I thought Stay Radiant because that's what Kyle said. But I figured we want something more personalized to Radiant Black, I guess. But we'll see because Stay Radiant is still amazing. And, so he actually told me that, and he asked his assistant to double check, which I'm assuming was his agent or something, because they seemed like they were together at every convention. But he was even like, wow, like, look at that. It's like Radiant Black. And he's like, I think you're the second person, like, ever to bring us this. And then his agent was like, yeah, and like, probably like second or third person ever to bring a Radiant Black to get signed. So that's really cool. And that doesn't really surprise me, considering we just found out that, recently, a few months ago or a couple of weeks ago, that Will Friedle is the voice of Radiant Black a couple months ago now, after issue number 15. So, yeah, that was just a cool little story. And today, Matt and I actually, so fresh right off the con, Matt and I got to go get a photograph with Will Friedle, and it was really nice. And we asked him again to come on the podcast, and he seemed excited by the prospect. So hopefully it happens.
We'll reach out and email his agent for sure, but because he's not very active on social media platforms, probably for the better, because But yeah. He was really chill and super kind. We only saw him for like a couple seconds today, at least. Bash talked to him more during the signing, but yeah, he was rad, and it's really great that, I mean, already you got like a known actor for like people our age. There's Kim Possible fans, Batman Beyond, like he's done a bunch of stuff, Saved by the Bell. So like,
dude, he voiced Kyle Rayner, the DCA.
Yeah, exactly. So that's all you need. I mean, yeah, no, it was just great, and he was very cool. It just seems like exactly like you'd assume, and hopefully it's not the last you hear of Will Friedle, and we hope to get him on the podcast.
Yeah, and they're doing Boy Meets World pod, I know, right now, so that's always a nice throwback to Boy Meets World. Anyway, we got a few things on the agenda here before we dive into Rogue Sun number 7. First things first is...
I said Saved by the Bell earlier, didn't I? Instead of Boy Meets World. Didn't I?
Yes, but it's okay. I was hoping to like almost cover you there, but
Saved by the Boy.
Eric Matthews himself. Basically one of the models for Radiant Black's Marshall. I'm not even gonna lie, Kyle. We all know. I mean, yeah, Boy Meets World is awesome. Check it out if you haven't. So last month, earlier this month, we got Radiant Black number 18 Infinity Edition, whichever one you call it. And we got the Rogue Sun number 7 Glow in the Dark and New York Comic Con exclusive variant. And both are gorgeous. If you haven't checked those out, I think Addy told me earlier that they're sold out of the website, so you might have to go onto the eBay. But yeah, if you haven't checked those out, they're just beautiful. The Infinity Edition, whatever, is the full one page, one entire page of Radiant Black number 18, which Kyle showed us in the Instagram, the Black Market Narrative emails, where they showed us on the tables and everything. So I can't wait to get my hands on those. I know everybody here probably grabbed them, and yeah, you guys grabbed them.
Yes. I grabbed one of each, one of the Glow in the Dark and the Infinite. I'm more excited for the Infinite because like I think as a reading
Yeah.
experience that would be pretty cool to see one super long panel across however many pages it is all in one connected page. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it'd be just cool to see it all in one and see if there's any.
Dude, where are you gonna read it?
Yeah. Oh, I
gotta
know.
put it
Yeah, I
all the
know.
way
Yeah,
in the
we're
middle
just
of
we're
the
just
room
thinking
floor.
about the initial. Yeah, but
Literally.
like going through it, like I'm thinking like maybe yeah, there's little different ways, or you can see different paths through there because we just saw it reading like flipping through it, like how many different freaking paths like there was, and like how like almost like this book, like choose your own adventure. Like even like we started it like bash, like you read it a little different than we all did like to start. So yeah, the whole thing in one go is it's gonna be freaking awesome. Yeah, that glow in the dark is sweet as well.
I can't wait for someone to take it all apart and like frame it. I'm sure somebody's gonna do that eventually.
Yeah.
Yep.
Gotta.
So wait, why did you put that idea out there? We should have done that first. Nah. So now everybody's gonna do it before us. If you do it, tag us so we could see it and admire it, of course, because that sounds like an awesome idea. Anyway, so the next thing we have on the Radiant agenda is that the IGR, aka Inferno Glow Red, solicits for book one and the covers / variants are out. So I just want to say a big thank you to Matt Groom and everybody involved, Igor Monti, Becca, is it Becca Dorso, right? Or is it my
Erica Durso, is
or
that it,
Erica
right?
Durso? Erica Durso, yes.
Oh,
Erica Durso and Matt Groom and Igor Monti. Am I forgetting anyone? I think that's everyone. So yeah, Inferno Girl Red looks incredible. And yeah, so we got Dorso, Groom, Monty, Carey. And book one's coming out January 25th, 2023. And the reason I'm thinking the group, so I kept forgetting, I'm sorry. So we've got the cover B Mana variant, Francesco Mana. Awesome cover, very reminiscent of his Supermassive illustrations, which are just beautiful. We've got the cover C by Nicole, or is it Nicole? Yeah, Nicole Gu? Is it Gu or Zhu? I'm sorry, I'm not 100%, but gorgeous cover that I'm going to be picking up myself. Honestly, I'm going to get all of these. We've got the 1 in 10 incentive variant by Scott and Kwok and Nicola Scott. And then we've got the Carlini variant, which is a 125. So that one's going to be, you guys know that one's going to be, everyone's going to be going after that one. I can't wait to get my hands on that Inferno. Got to complete the Carlini gauntlet. And then the 1 in 50 Durso and Marcelo Costa variant with Inferno Glow Red and Radiant Black. And we've all been talking about this cover since they showed us the Kickstarter, right? So I gotta say, I mean, what do you guys think of the covers? I think they nailed it.
Yeah, that one's exciting. Just the art for this series, like, is just every page, like every preview they've put out, just looks incredible. And I think it was yesterday Igor Monti put out the books finally fully colored, ready to go for January. So yeah, I just cannot wait to go through that whole thing. And yeah, all the covers, looking inside the book and like looks just as good as outside the book. So definitely like that.
Dude, I'm in love with Erica's art. Like, I haven't even seen it, but every time we get any preview of it, I'm just like, this art is incredible. And I know we say that about a lot of Massiveverse artists, but she's really up there for me. Like, her style is really close in terms of the aesthetic that I really like, the contemporary style aesthetic of
It's
comics.
really lively.
Yeah, it's kinetic as hell. I like it. I like the artists. There's a lot of artists working in the Massiveverse that really do it for me, like Daniele Di Niculo, and I think Erica is another one. So I'm very excited to see. We talked about how incredible Cassia Costa's design is, and that's the civilian name of the character who is Inferno Glow Red. For those of you who are not aware. So yeah, we would talk about the solicit real quick before we move on. So here we've got a new school, new relationships, new possibilities for any teenager. Big moves are both challenging and exciting. But it's a whole other thing for Cassia Costa because an ancient cult and their army of demons has ripped their new home of Apex City out of our universe and cast it into darkness. To have any hope of saving it, Cassia must survive the worst night of her life, embrace a secret legacy, and find the courage to fight what all seems lost as the blazing light of hope in the dark. Inferno Go Red. So yeah, from creators Erica Durso and Mag Room, the saga of the newest Image Comics superhero begins here. Cover prices were confirmed by Matt, and they're $5.99, and we're getting 56 pages. I think they said, if I am not mistaken, I think it's like 40 or 40 something pages without ads. So that's awesome. Totally worth it for me. I'm very excited. Can't wait. And what are you guys thinking? Are you guys excited as hell as well?
It's definitely my most like anticipated title coming up. I've been waiting for this book for so long, and I know all of us have been like kicking ourselves for missing the Kickstarter when it first came out, so I'm finally excited to get my hands on this. Cannot come any sooner.
Yeah.
Yeah, same here. It's nice to finally have a date for it. Like this is the most anticipated. They took the Kickstarter route, which definitely benefited like locking in a certain amount of issues they could write and getting having the people directly fund you and stuff like that. But it took kind of forever to get the dates and get it out to the public. So it's great that the public is finally going, the larger public. I mean, not the people that were there for day one are finally going to get their hands on it because the art's amazing and I really enjoy what we saw of Kasha in Massiveverse. So yeah, this looks to be awesome. I mean, all the titles have been hit so far, and I doubt this is gonna be any different.
Yeah. No, I agree. I'm really excited. I'm almost like I don't want to talk about it anymore because I just like I'm really really excited for this. I'm jealous of all the Kickstarter people who are gonna get an early head start. But kudos to you for being wise enough to get in on it. But yeah, next thing we have up is I guess a quick mention as well of the incredible Radiant Red. So Radiant Red trade paperback is actually coming out very soon. I'm gonna double check the exact date to confirm, but yeah, Radiant Red trade paperback. If you haven't gotten in on that yet, get in on it. Um, Everybody on the podcast enjoyed Radiant Red, some more than others, but I will say that in when I was rereading it afterwards, I enjoyed it a lot more. I don't know why. I just thought about it more. So December 7th, that's when the Radiant Red trade paperback is coming out. Make a good Christmas present, a good Radiant Christmas present. And it collects and reprints Radiant Red 1 to 5. I heard Michael say that it'll collect Radiant Black number 6 as well. I'm not 100% sure on that. So, oh yeah, it says here, collects Radiant Black number 6 and Radiant Red number 1 to 5. There you go. It doesn't get better than that. $16.99 cover price. So yeah, check out Radiant Red. Um, I'm very excited. I'm going to be picking up the trade paperbacks just because I like to have all the Massiveverse trades on my shelf. And I'm
Volume
definitely going to be
3
rereading
of
this.
Radiant Black drop too on the 28th.
Oh
right?
yeah, yep.
Which was
Pick
great.
that
I
up.
picked up mine. Love it. I love the consistency and the look. It's very unique, right? Because the covers are different than anything else. It's them rising and the look, the different things that happen. This we've got we got Mecha and a few of the rogues on the cover of this one, and the quality is up there like all the other trades.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, trade paperbacks are out. Get your Massiveverse trade paperbacks. God knows we've done so many giveaways for the previous editions, and maybe there'll be one in your future. Speaking of, it's actually almost Halloween soon, and if any of you are going to be dressing up as a Radiant character, please share that in the Radiant Black Discord or tag us on Twitter, Instagram, or any social media, and let's see your Massiveverse costumes.
Yes,
Just a
please.
thought, yeah,
Yes, please.
yeah,
Yeah, that's a good idea.
yeah. This is the thought of some people. I know we've had one or two folks in the Discord who've done the cosplays, and they've been incredible. So yeah, and then just it's always like an exciting time, Halloween every year. Hope you guys have been celebrating your movie fest and your horror fests. Anyway, last item on the agenda is that Radiant Pink is finally also up for pre-order. And one thing I just also want to credit the uh, Massiveverse team for giving us, because it's very generous, is if you look at the Radiant Pink number 1, which by the way, Radiant Pink is another miniseries spin-off spinning out of Radiant Black. We're going to be obviously focusing on Pink herself, and the creative team is two writers, Melissa Flores and Megan Camarena, aka Strawberry. They're going to be writing together with artist Emma Kubert and I believe colorist Rebecca Nalty, with letters by Becca Carey. So for number 1, so first of all, so before I get ahead of myself, Michael Basuto said that every single issue is going to have a variant that's a video game homage, like a classic video game homage. So that alone is a really cool theme, considering, Pink is a
We already have
gamer.
Portal.
Yep,
Yeah.
Portal. You beat me to it. Yep, Portal 1, gorgeous cover by Kelly McMahon. Amazing, just beautiful. It was recognizable right away. And then the most important thing here on the agenda is that Radiant Pink number 1 cover B is actually a Tom Whalen variant. It's the Tom Whalen helmet variant, and it's actually open to order cover price. So it's not an incentive. So all of you Radiant Black readers, Massiveverse fans that want to get the Whalen set, the helmet set, it's going to be very easy for you to grab a hold of this cover because it's going to be very cheap and very available. So I highly recommend pre-ordering a copy because, my God, Tom Whalen's covers are just gorgeous.
What's a video game cover you guys want to see referenced? I want to see Doom. And you can have instead of rip and tear, blip and tear because she's teleporting. Come on.
If it has to be like something kind of similar to the Portal, yeah, I get it'd have to maybe. I'm not saying it does, but I'm saying if it does, that would make it a little bit more.
We're likely to see Fortnite or Apex, like some battle royale referenced as a cover, since that's what's popular and what people are streaming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I would love to see like honestly anything. So like the ones they've chosen so far are fantastic, and I think we're in good hands. So yeah.
Yeah, I think they're ripe for getting people that don't really read comics or just people that wouldn't necessarily be the audience for Radiant Pink that could definitely get some eyes on the series. So it's a good idea, and like as a gamer, like they're definitely covers I'm looking out for.
Oh, 100%. And they're going to be incentives, which is going to make them, in my opinion, more desirable for certain people, obviously for collectors and whatnot. So, yeah, I do love like the Radiant Pink cover for the 125 for number 1. And then number 2, I think it's the Bleeding Edge or whatever it's called, that game. So that's what they're doing, the variant. Something Edge. I forgot what it's called. But yeah. And number 2, we have, we talked about her no romantic interest or her new friend, but it seems like, on the cover of number 2, they're kind of kissing. So, well, Radiant Pink might be getting a new romantic interest, which is exciting because that gives us more to talk about. And I know you're still hurting from Z.
Yeah, I nothing to say. It's just sadness over here, but whatever.
Is this,
We'll
do we know, is this done like in the present or the past? Like what timeline this is?
If I had to guess, I would say it's going to be in the present, but I'm not entirely sure. Like let's just see the solicit. The solicit says, "Life is good for Eva. Ever since teleporting superhero Radiant Pink,
Okay. Yeah.
She started guesting on her streams. Her view count has skyrocketed, and fame and fortune are surely close behind. But when a charity appearance is interrupted by a squad of mercenaries hunting for the radiant that powers her, Eva will find herself very far. So I guess it'll be sometime at least after 12 or 13.
Yeah, that's my
that's
thought
exciting.
too.
Yeah.
After Russia and after she met Marshall, but then her life
after her origin issue for sure. Yeah, which was 13, right? Was it 12 or 13? It was one
12.
of those. 12? Okay, so
12.
it'll be for sure after that since it references that. But yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm excited, and I'm sure if we ask Mr. Massiveverse himself, aka Michael Basuto, he'll answer that question immediately. So yeah, and don't forget that Kyle Higgins, and I guess this is more of a teaser than an agenda item, but it is worth mentioning. Kyle Higgins did say that he's going to be. There is some more Cowl stuff coming up. That's what he said. It's a little bit vague, but yeah, very exciting. I can't wait. Can't wait to see more Blaze.
Yeah. The more the better. The more the better.
I was literally wearing my Blaze shirt today when we went to get our pictures with Wolf. We had to represent.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're for
we still have Radia still in that on that cover yet to show up in the Massiveverse. So yeah, still some ties and yeah, some.
Dude, I can't imagine Radia in the Massiveverse. Like, oh my gosh, she's so badass. Could you imagine her like just tussling with all the other Radiant characters?
I would love. Her and Marshall and Nathan. Yeah, no, I would love to just see their reactions to her, just like beating up like a bunch of just thugs or something. No.
This is fanboy, man. I'd fanboy the whole time. But yeah. Anyway, before we dive into Rogue Sun number 7, just want to give a big shout out and thank you to our Patreons. So we've got Noah and Patrick. Thank you for your patronage.
Yeah, Patrick was our first patron, and that's a big deal.
Actually, Noah was our first.
No, it was Noah?
Yep. But
wow.
We don't favor patrons. Everyone is equal, and we love you all. Thank you so much for your
Thanks,
support,
man.
Everyone
everybody.
is equal, but you never forget your first. No, just kidding. But yeah, thanks so much, everyone that contributes to the podcast and make things way easier on our end. If we can do like if it can support subscriptions and we can bring you better material, it's amazing. And yeah, no, we appreciate your support so much, and it means the world to us.
Yeah, you get automatic enrollment into our Radiant OnlyFans. No, I'm just kidding. Uh, you have to pay it too. No, I'm just kidding. We don't have Radiant OnlyFans. But yeah, no,
Soon to come.
soon to come actually. Yeah, we have some really good ideas coming soon. So I'm very excited. We have some obviously where our patrons are going to get early access and other special things. But yeah, I'm very excited for the future. So thank you, patrons. Now, Rogue Sun number 7. Without further ado, one of my favorite issues, single issues this year, just of all comics. Just so much fun. Really, it just took me back to being a kid and reading the Choose Your Own Adventures Goosebumps books, if you ever seen those. Oh yeah. Rogue Sun number 7 by Ryan Parrott and Nick Cotton. So we've got a co-writer here who helped Ryan
First
Parrott.
co-writer, right?
Yep,
First co-writer on
I
Nick
believe
Cotton.
so. Yep. Artist Zay Carlos. I hope I didn't butcher the pronunciation of that. Colorist Raul Angulo, who we love here at the Massiveverse because he's worked on a few Massiveverse books and even Power Rangers with these creators before. Letterer and letterer extraordinaire, actually, Becca Carey. Covers by Marcelo Costa and an awesome Choose Your Own Adventure variant by Kath Lobo with the Ornette there in the background. Really love that. Production designer Wesley Griffith, logo designer, phonographics, and editor and designer, of course, Mike Busui. So yeah, what did you guys think? Because we're going to change the explanation here, or sorry, our discussion structure here a little bit, considering the structure of the comic book itself. So, what did you think overall of the structure of the comic book? Were you confused at first? Did it confuse you? Did you struggle to get to the ending? Or what do you guys think?
Well, going in, we knew that it was going to be choose your own adventure, right? So, I mean, for us who are like, it's like for our hobby, we're usually on the top of this stuff. We talked to Ryan, who we're super thankful he came on the podcast about stuff. So we knew that there would be numbers on every issue to follow and stuff like that. So we were prepared. But I imagine that if you're just reading the issue and not listening to the podcast or keeping up, this would have been like a leap, even if you know what choose your own adventure books and how they go.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested to hear Ali's experience here because I know he this kind of was his first time if
Yeah,
I'm not
definitely.
mistaken. So yeah,
And you
I
never
I
forget your
know for
first.
me it was pretty clear for the most part. I know me and Bash talking about this right before. Like I went on this digital for the first time. So either way you read it, physical or digital, you can actually see the pages at the top, like if you tap on your screen, and it makes it really easy. And I thought it was really well organized, and the numbers were pretty well laid out, and yeah, it was pretty. They made it as simple as possible to get through for the most part. So yeah.
Plus,
So,
I just noticed if you look at the one, like in the top corner, there's like almost it's written on the sun, right? So you see like the
yeah.
light surrounding it almost, which is a nice touch. Like, oh, like it's like the
Yeah,
aura.
no,
And, yeah.
it's right there. Just to set the scene, like that shows like yeah, there's gonna be a number there every time. So
Mm.
that yeah, no, that's kind of cool. But yeah, no, interested to hear your thoughts, Ali.
Yeah, so like you said, this was my first choose your own adventure book I've ever read. My immediate thought was I thought it was very weird that on page 2, I thought it was strange that it was bolded when he says, I just glanced at the solution on page 12 and I forgot about like I thought about it for like 1 second. I was like, why is this bolded? And then I forgot about it. And I went through it and I got stuck for about like 5 minutes just going through that same loop. I'm pretty sure you guys know what I'm talking about, where you get stuck and you
Yep.
go back and like there's literally no solution, you know? And then I was like, wait, wasn't there something bolded in the beginning? And I had to go back. I looked at the bolding and then I finally solved it. It felt cool because it didn't feel like I was just reading a book. And I think Bash mentioned this before we were recording. It felt like I was playing a game, like I was trying to solve a puzzle or something.
Yeah. Yep.
So it wasn't just like I was reading a comic book. I was like actually playing something. It was great. It was a totally new and refreshing experience for me.
You know how you
Yeah.
would describe this episode, like if I had to, like if everybody would understand this reference as a title, I would be happy. But you guys know the Office, obviously.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know the episode where Ryan, the temp, starts a fire and they keep singing the
Yes.
song.
With the
Like
cheese
Ryan
pita?
started a
Yeah.
fire.
Ryan
Yeah,
started the fire.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's basically what Ryan did when he made Rogue Sun. He like literally started the fire because like this that's what this is, man. Because like it's fucking amazing. Like I understand why he needed a co-writer for this because it is a little bit confusing to write because if you're so used to structure being a certain way and then you're going to experiment with this, it probably is a little bit jarring. That being said, I agree with what you said in that it was very smooth to read. I really appreciated that they put the numbers at the top.
Oh,
Like
100%.
I know it's probably not really needed, but like it really made a big difference.
I
Like it
think it
really did.
is. Otherwise,
It
you're
is,
counting
yeah.
one, two, three, four,
Yeah.
five, six. When you see the number, and there's no, the page could be like, what's page one? Is it the index? Is it like the
Yeah,
opening with
it's
all the
true.
names? So that way,
Yeah.
no bullshit. You know what you're doing. And the intro on page 12. And also, I just wanted to mention, like Ori had a different kind of aura in this issue when you see her just show up here after what we saw in 18. It was so cool to see her pop up. So just the
Yeah.
interconnectivity. If you didn't read 18, you didn't need to, but there's just a nice
Point
little,
here.
flavor to this issue.
How did you feel about Zay Carlos doing the art? Because I was saying earlier, like I felt it worked so well for this issue, which is essentially more action packed than almost all the Rogue Sun issues we've had, because it's mostly an action issue, and I thought his art style was a little bit less atmospheric and moody than Abel's, where you get a lot more of the feels in terms of the, how dark the series is, how esoteric it is. But here I felt the more kinetic energy coming from his artwork. So it felt a lot. It almost reminded me a lot of Invincible, like like the them fighting the Kraken with the Omni-Man.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
issue, yeah, it reminded me
Yeah,
a
that's a
lot
good
of that.
comparison.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's just like I don't know whose idea this was, but there's a lot of like. First of all, I love the difference between whenever we're in a page with Ornit, how the entire background goes gray, and it makes you feel like you're in a different, area, like you're in
It's
that
like
mist.
Twilight Princess with the wolf
Yep,
segments with the hero shade teaching kind of stuff. Like it's that kind of stuff.
exactly,
I love it. Or
exactly.
Pokemon Sword and Shield when we don't have time to animate background, so everything's just great. No, but yeah,
Dude,
no, you're right.
it's like it's amazing. Like, have you ever played World of Warcraft and you know when your screen, when they put smoke in your screen and you can't see anyone else and you're just like in a different place? It's like that. That's basically what they
The
did.
fog of war
Yeah,
graphics.
Isn't that
yeah,
how it is
exactly.
when you're dead too? Like everything
Yeah.
around you is black and white and you're trying to
Exactly,
walk back everybody.
exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
I thought this was ingenious. I thought it was so on theme for the character. It was a very interesting way to convey Ornit and his power set or their power set. 'Cause I don't even know what it is. But my God, I'm super into everything. Like I love how mysterious this issue was in Ornit, and like you get kind of a taste for what the character can do, but you don't really know much more about them yet. And I love that. I thought it gave us a little bits of crumbs here and there and kept
Yeah,
us on our toes, wanting more basically.
we talked about the design or their design a little earlier when it was revealed at Comic-Con and stuff like that. But what do you guys think about it? I like how it's very Court of Owls. You got the owl and the hair. It can almost look like like the hour hand on a clock if you look at it the right way because
Design's
it's always kind
amazing.
of. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's really sweet. Like he looks,
Yeah.
it's kind of like Batman. It reminds me like Mad Hatter mixed with like the Riddler, kind of like with the way he is, not design wise. I think it's sweet. What about you guys?
I think it's very unique. Like I've never seen anything quite like it. Like yeah, Court of Owls kind of, but I love the
It's because
color
it's got
set. Yeah, I love the lamp, like the ornate thing
the
he has.
sensor.
Yeah, the sensor fate. Yeah, yeah. I love that whole sensor fate stuff because it reminds me a lot of like different Doctor Fate comics
Yeah.
as well,
Yeah.
things like that. So I really loved it. I loved the colors in this issue because we had so much we had a diversity of colors between pages, or a lot of different pages depending on the paths you took, put you in a entirely different setting, and that you really felt that experience because it was handled very masterfully between the page transitions. So for example, there's a page that basically tells you where you could use the black fire. And then when you go to that page with the black fire, the entire page is like a red orange. And it's incredible. It's very different than, the other page where you're fighting, what's his name? Lord Viathan?
Lord
Yeah.
Leviathan, hell yeah, my
Yeah.
boy.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I don't know. I loved it. And there are certain pages where he there's that one page the first time you encounter Lord Vythan where he punches Lord Vythan. He says, "Man, just when you think you've seen it all, a sea monster mashup, crazy." I love how him landing down on the ship and knocking Lord Leviathan aside. Like they did the whole background as orange, almost to emphasize the effect of it. It was just so cool. I love that kind of thing.
It's funny you mentioned WoW, or WoW was brought up. I think it was Ali that mentioned it. He has almost like a Naga kind of body. Like the base body looks
Yep.
like the
Ooh,
Nagas a little
yeah,
bit.
yeah.
Yeah, and then the octopus. So I like that it's almost like the rage of the sea itself. Like these creatures, like Lord Leviathan is probably just the body, but maybe it's just like an angry Aquaman, or just like a Namor. Like the rage of the oceans themselves are together in me, and like we are one
Yeah.
being coming at your ass. There, I like yeah. It's very it is like the Finnegan root school of design, where it's like we'll take all these kind of things. How it's just kind of like roadkill, except he's like roadkill of the sea, ocean kill, if you will. So yeah, I love it.
Yeah, that's a good comparison. I'm curious actually if like that octopus kind of just like was there like all the time, or it just kind of like, or if that's actual a separate creature or something. But no, I right away when I saw the name, I just laughed for a long time, because for me personally, like in Canada's Wonderland is like a couple minute drive for me, and the biggest roller coaster there is named the Leviathan, after like the big sea creature or whatever. Like I guess it's like a multi-head sea creature. I don't even know what the actual creature's called, but I just love this take on it. And like just the name was all these names we're getting, and all the designs are absolutely awesome. But this one especially, I think it was the colors too, like Bash was saying, really just pops the whole time. And it depends where you are, but I really got kind of, I wouldn't say a different vibe, but I kind of did, from this issue. It was a lot more, yeah. It
Did you
just,
guys see that page where he goes to that one? Because they show different fates, right? Like different fates depending on the
yeah,
different choices he takes and what each choice, what the path each choice leads to. There's one page where I always forget the name of the guy with the big axe from early on, but it's him, Cataclysm, the werewolf,
oh
and
yeah.
yeah, it almost felt like a little Sinister Six kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
You know what I mean? I really loved that. I loved like them, even though it was imaginary. You know what I mean? Like he's all imaginary because it's all that. But I also want to say the page where Ornette gets locked up by Dottie, and not by Dottie, sorry, where Ornette gets messed with by Rogue's son, and he gets, we see that whole like them play with the panels and how it's almost
Yeah,
like a shard of glass constantly like going
people like
into
being pulled into
other.
like a portal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that was incredible. That was like an incredible page. Just genuinely like I felt that. You know what I mean? I love how unconventional this issue is in the sense that they're tackling so much, but they're still not afraid to shy away from these incredible visuals. One page, yeah, you guys talked about is the page with all the destinies, and
Yeah.
let's go to that page for a second. Let's look at that
Once,
page.
well, I just want to say that page 20 that you were talking about is like it's almost emblematic of the full issue. Like the tiles are in whatever order that that Dylan has put them in, right? And it's all in your control. And we're like Dylan with the control of like the order of the comic, and just
Yep.
like Dylan is in control of Ornate's future or his present at the very least.
Yeah, and yeah, exactly. And I just want to say that other page before where we're looking at the destinies or the potential fates, or yeah, so he says when one shatters the sensor of fate, they experience every possible failure over and over again, 100-fold. It's interesting that I want to emphasize that he says every possible failure, mistakes that could happen. Again, mistakes. So here we're looking at negative things. And then he says mistakes that should happen, and then he says mistakes that will happen. So let's take a second here to analyze this page because, like you guys said before we started recording, I think this is by far one of the most significant pages of this issue, if not the most. So in the first one, on the left, the top left, we've got the cover for Rogue Sun #7, New York Comic Con Glow in the Dark edition, which is what we talked about, him in his almost like this royalty form, full armor with this cool like halberd scepter thing, staff thing.
That's like Lord of
And
the Seven Seas because he's got
yeah,
Krakens behind him there. So
reminds me of what's it called? Like Sauron, when he's in armor.
yeah,
Yeah.
He's
Oh
in like
yeah.
full armor sitting in his throne. Like he looks, it's not exactly the same, but it's like it's a similar idea where he's
It's a good
just like
comparison.
badass. Yeah. Yeah, like his throne, he's got his armor, the pointy shit, and then he's got his weapon. He's decked out basically.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah,
love
man.
that.
No, I'm
I love we get here, and then yeah, we see we see another one. I forget what this creature was called, but the dude with the spine
Finnegan
rib.
Root. Yeah,
Big and
he's
Root,
getting
yeah.
married. Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
married. That was the funniest one.
He's
I was
get-
like,
yeah.
wait a minute, who is
Yeah.
that?
I love that. It's right beside it. Mistakes that will happen. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, is that talking about
That's
like
the
her
one that interests
mistake?
me the
Yeah,
most.
like that's. Yeah, I
Like,
don't know.
who's he getting married to? The roadkill
Yeah.
dude right there.
What
Yeah,
is the mistake?
exactly.
Is that he didn't get a prenup? No. I'm just kidding.
I think there's a lot of mistakes going on in that marriage, but I don't know. I don't know.
I care more about this wedding than any other comic, any other
I
marriage in any comic. I swear. I'll be there day one. Catwoman,
No,
Batman, who?
100%.
just
Dude,
want to know what's going
Suave.
on. Like, what
Yeah.
the fuck?
Suave with an army of zombies. We got like Marvel Zombies 3 here with Suave. Like, what is it all with zombies making a comeback these days, man? But I just want to know what's going on there, because where is that? Like, I've never seen that background area with like the well and then like the little shack behind him. I'm very curious. Like, is he bringing in them from another dimension or another
Can you
plane?
picture Marshall popping up like, "Hey, yo, you got zombies over here? Shit, I gotta hunt them." Although that'd be pretty easy, just let them hover and you can't bite anybody when you're just like in the air, I guess. But yeah, no, I'd be interested in that for sure. Like we got zombies. Like I love it when they do this. It's like Supermassive did something very similar, and those chickens still haven't come home to roost. But I'm anxiously awaiting that.
Yeah, that's true. Kind of the similar thing going on here. And I
And
love this
Dottie-
armor here. Is that Dottie in Cataclysm?
Yes!
That's right.
Yes.
She's the new
Yes.
Farah. She's in Overwatch 3. That's confirmed now. But it is dope armor and mistakes that should happen. Like, hey, maybe she has a way better knowledge of this stuff.
Is
and
this
if she-
is this like a Lord of the Rings thing? Is she being corrupted by Cataclysm, or is Cataclysm, or is she like what? It's very vague. That's the thing. Like, is Cataclysm killing her? Is it like a symbiote? Is it like the Ring where it's like corrupting her? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Gonna slowly corrupt her while trapped on the inside. Yeah.
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 And then,
no,
but man, Ori, what's Ori doing, man? Up to more fuckery, I see. Like, it wasn't enough what she did in issue like 3 or whatever. Now she has to get up to more, no good. But she has
wants
this
to-
like very sinister look to her face too. Like, she's evil,
she's
man.
always fucking around. Yeah.
She watched Doctor Strange too. She's got the
Pulling a Wanda.
She's Wanda. She's going over to Wanda's. Yeah, she's got the Wanda fever right now. But no, this page is incredible. Just genuinely, like, I don't even know if there's something to the color scheme where, like, when you could, should, will, right? Like, when it's could, it's like less dark. When it's should, it's a little bit more dark. When it's will, it's lighter. Have you guys noticed that? It's like, it's weird.
like
Yeah.
should for me. Yeah, no, it's a good point. But for me, should like maybe he died. Like Rogue Sun's dead, so she has to take on some power. Not necessarily Rogue Sun's. Like maybe I should die and someone else could be better at this. It could be very nihilistic about like, hey, maybe it would be better off in this. Also, are we gonna get a more mature Dylan next week? Probably, since he's like had his like Dormammu have come to bargain moment and lived through like much more time. Who knows? Probably
I
not.
wouldn't bet on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't bet on that.
Yeah.
There was a little bit of maturity, I feel like, towards the end. You know what I mean? Where he was like, "Not in the diamonds, anywhere but in the diamonds, please." I guess.
And is that because of his
Yeah.
mom? 'Cause
I
his
have no
mom's
idea.
gone?
I guess. Yeah. I guess part of it is because his mom, but also like he's probably traumatized from the last time Demonica escaped from the diamonds. Maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair. I think it's interesting too. Like this is the first kind of adventure pretty much in his life that he's been on by himself. Like that he's really going, like this is the first time he's kind of been on his own and he's kind of going through himself. So yeah, I think really he will grow from this for better or for worse for a little bit. But yeah, no, I think he'll pull a lot of things from
Good
from this
point.
issue, for sure.
He was alone, but not entirely, right? Because he still kind of had Ornate not with him, but like as an antagonist in the back of his mind with way more info and stuff like that. So there's still kind of that too.
Yeah,
which
that's
is
yeah, that
terrible.
is yeah.
Yeah,
that's
Orner
true,
was
that's
saying a lot of stuff his dad would say as well. You know what I mean? Like, "Oh, I need to prepare you."
Yeah, that is true. That is
Yeah.
true.
It
So
had
yeah,
me
he was
thinking.
alone, but
Kind of shook him off, and then now he's alone at this point. And, so I guess we'll see where he goes from here. But yeah, no, that is a good point.
Speaking of, do you guys think we've seen the last of Marcus?
no way.
Zero chance. I think we'll see him in the menagerie or whatever, the crystal menagerie or whatever when we go. Hopefully when we go in there eventually.
I think
My-
we'll see him by the end of this arc, for sure.
What I want to happen is I want to see Marcus come back and somehow get a different Roxanne suit, and then both of them
Yes.
go at it.
Yes.
I wanna
I like
see
that.
Billy Blood Moon like gather a werewolf army. Just like
Like a Witch's Cup.
just try to
team
like
up with-
take over. Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be cool. I don't man. There's just so much you could do with Rogue Sun, and it's really crazy just looking at the characters in this issue. All we had Ori Bell, Billy Blood Moon, Brock Bell, Cataclysm, Dottie Perrine, sorry, Finnegan Root, Lord Vythan, Ornit, Rogue Sun, Dylan Siegel, obviously, and
Bride of Ruth.
Suave. Yeah, you think about that. That's like so many characters, and it just felt perfectly paced. And yeah, I think there's just so much you could do with these characters. I can't wait to see it. And, man, am I having a blast with Rogue Sun? I really am. I've recommended Rogue Sun to every single person, whether they've been who likes comics, whether they've been reading Massiveverse titles or not. I've recommended it because I really do think that not only is it an incredible series, but it works very well as a standalone series as well.
Yeah.
Divorced parents that still fight in the afterlife. You pick up Rogue Sun. Come on. No, well, yeah, I love it. Like I've said it in the previous episodes of the podcast, and I stand by it. Is that Rogue Sun has my favorite Rogues Gallery of the multiverse. I just love these characters, and in 7 issues, I think it's pretty strong already with like Suave, and you've got Finnegan Root, you've got Billy Bloodmoon, you've got I always call her Vampironica, but you know who I'm talking about. Demonica, yeah. Where they've done some damage. Like Demonica's like, you remember she had shit on lock there for a bit, and Suave is cool. We've still got Tarantula Curses. Suave is the one that ate the spooky spider, right? Or was it Suave? Yeah. So that stuff's still coming home the roost. Like we got some really cool stuff in this series. We don't even know what Ori's up to. She could be good, or she's got some evil intentions, perhaps with the zombies. So we don't know. Also, I do want to point out that first page there, when or page 2. Well, actually, it's page 1 according to the top right hand corner. When they're fighting with brother's name is Brock, right? Yeah.
Yep.
They're when Brock and Dylan are fighting, you can see Ari say, "Before you two start killing each other, ... So like you can kind of see, like, I'd be shocked if Brock doesn't get some kind of magic power. We saw him talking to Finnegan Root, like he might get some kind of ability, and you could see these guys fighting because as close as they get with Brock, he feels that Rogue Sun is his birthright to be Rogue Sun, and there's even that thing like, yeah, I'll give it to you when I'm done. And I don't think Dylan's gonna let go of being Rogue Sun that easily, especially when he gets used to it. And I think that there might be some turn to the dark side or something. Who knows what could happen? That's just what I'm putting out there.
Yeah. Maybe he's under that Hellbent costume or something like that. I don't know.
Oh.
But yeah, no. Speaking of Rogues Galleries too, I remember when you talked to Ryan, he was saying sooner rather than later we're gonna be seeing a Minotaur with a flaming sword come out very soon too as one of the villains. So I can't wait to find out his name and
the Alienator, right?
Deal.
Like I don't know if that's the thing or not, but the Alienator was mentioned when we're in the shop. It was something like that. The Alienator is something Terminator plus something. So no, you're right about that. And Minotaurs. Like I'm in love. Come on.
Like what? Yeah, like come on. Give it all. All these villains, all the names, just chef kiss.
When you guys had the option, did you guys? It was like one of them was like do blank or use the dark fire. I clicked do the dark fire to the point. I can't remember what the other option was. What'd you guys pick?
I definitely picked the Darkfire first.
Yeah.
That's what I did. I just like in this series we've only got to see it a few times, so I was just like right when I saw the word I was like, okay, I want to
that or destroy the Sensor of Fate. I like it's really cool. It feels like you're in the fight. It's like oh, do you open the door or do you go down the hallway? This is like, do you use Darkfire, like one of the coolest new powers in comics. It's really cool.
Yeah, I love that too. Like the apartment or that apartment breaks. Like, do you save the civilians or do you go run and catch them or whatever that one was? Yeah, no, choices were awesome. And I know for me, I went on that page 10. I don't know if we want to talk about that. Yeah, that page 10. I was on that a few times. It definitely took me a few times.
Oh
like,
yeah,
what's going on?
Yeah, I love how it all connects together and the whole like choose your own adventure thing makes sense within the greater story. Like it's not just that you see future fates or whatever, but you see like how Dylan is dealing with everything. And I love the fact that it makes you step into Dylan's shoes by cheating to beat the story or like figure out how the story ends. Like that was my favorite part.
Yeah, the beginning foreshadows the what you're supposed to do. I like that because it did get me. I was like, geez, am I gonna get? I felt stupid for a bit, like whenever I read a new issue of Department of Truth. Like it was, well written. I'm just the stupid one in that equation. But it's just like I love it because you think outside the book. It's like a meta way of storytelling to the point that it increases your immersion because you can relate to Dylan. It's like, oh shit, we died using the Blackfire. Oh, we tried to die with that. Like it's just amazing, and it feels like it is like a game. Like not so much a video game, but the immersion is there, and that's a great game. Is when you feel like you're part of it, and you just feel like you're part of the material. And this was expertly done. Like I have zero complaints. Like there's no point. It was like, oh, you could have fixed that. Like this was flawless in my opinion. Like I can't really pick a weak point in this.
No,
Yeah.
I agree. That was so much fun. I really cannot overstate the impact of the Massiveverse and how incredible their innovation of the medium is when you consider that in the span of a month they released a comic book that was four different eras or timeline or yeah, four different eras in one. And they released an Infinite Edition that's just one whole page, and then they had the innovative Rogue Sun #7 that is choose your own adventure, very flawlessly adapted into comic book format, and it was just such a pleasure to read. I could not recommend it enough. If you're not reading Black or Rogue Sun or any of the other titles in the Massiveverse, like Radiant Red, Dead Lucky, we highly recommend checking it out. And overall, yeah, I just it always gets me wondering, like, what are they gonna do next? You know?
Yeah.
They haven't let us down yet. There have been so many like different takes on the comic book genre within the Massiveverse that I will continue to give them benefit of the doubt that they will surprise us and keep giving us great stories
I'm
like they've
just
done so
waiting for the day the bath bomb to open and like my Radiant inside to like finally come out and I can get my actual, real life Radiant costume and as intended by Kyle Higgins always, of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, like you look at it, these innovative stuff that we're gushing over. This was thought up and planned like a year or two ago, right? So like for all the stuff to like just be implemented, who knows what they're talking about now? Who knows what Basuto's like trying to make work and as an editor and trying to pitch and stuff like that is like Kyle writes it, and then you have Marcelo drawing it and Abel. Who knows what amazing issues of Rogue Sun he's drawing right now? Like it's insane, and I don't see any signs of stopping. I try not to predict what they're gonna do next as far as like wall breaking ideas because like they don't it's hard to predict people that are innovators.
Did any of you guys, I know that, every month they have like one piece of merch that's exclusive, and this month it was like the puzzle set for Radiant Black, right? The Radiant
Yeah.
Black puzzle set. So did anyone pick up the puzzle set and put it together? I just thought that was really cool.
No, I didn't, but I did see. I forget who. I saw
He's
someone. I saw
Dan,
someone.
I think Danny did it.
Yeah, I saw someone on
Mhm.
Twitter who completed it. It looks
Yeah.
freaking awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I
Good as
think also I did want to say I was on I was kind of on I was having my withdrawal from my lack of able in the system as of late. But I was on DC Universe Infinite, and I saw like he was drawing a Batman tie-in for the Gotham Knights. That game I didn't
Oh
get. I
shit.
didn't even really read the issue, but I was just flipping through it, just seeing him draw some Batman. So I just
That's a
wanted to,
get for Gotham Knights. Fuck yeah.
yeah, I
I
just wanted to put
actually,
that out
yeah, I
there.
bought that.
Yeah,
Big reason I
it looks
bought
fucking
that.
awesome. I didn't really read it, but just flipping through it, like, damn.
Looks great. Yeah, new character and everything. Yeah, I haven't read it yet, but I'm excited to read it. I picked them up because he's doing the art and also for the skin codes. I haven't bought the game yet, but I know
I'll
it's gonna
probably
go on sale soon. That's why I haven't
Yeah,
bought.
that's what I'm waiting for
yeah.
too.
It's not
I
the
just
greatest.
that last page though, I really just love the writing of this issue and just how the choose your own adventure can apply to real life. Like that's not the most like crazy original connection to make, but I do love it. And when Dylan's asking like, do you ever worry you're trapped in a self-destructive pattern that will ultimately lead to your inevitable death? She goes, honey, that's just called life. Like it's true, and it's like you forget that in life if you feel like you're stuck in a pattern, you can always choose your own adventure. Small changes go a long way, and you can be the change you want in your life. You're not stuck in this binary, structure where you feel like it's like go to work, do this, do that. There are things you can do to change your life and other people's lives for the better. So like don't forget that. And also it's kind of cool that, she has the incense, I guess, in a safe, and like you see that the sensor that whatever that smoke is leaking out. So this won't be the last we see of our ornate. And I can't. That seems like a rookie move for Dottie to turn around. It's like it's on its side too. Like I don't know. Well, maybe it doesn't stand on the bottom. Like I'll put it in that safe. Hopefully, if he doesn't
That
get
is
it
a
in the next
rookie
5 seconds.
mistake there. Yeah, it's a good
Yeah.
point. Should know better there. Should know better there. But maybe she's just a pro with the crystal. She's not a pro with these little lamps. I don't know.
Yeah, but hey, well, maybe that's gonna be what possesses her. Maybe she'll be possessed by it. That's that
yeah.
panel. That could be
There
how
you
it
go.
happens.
There we go.
Yep. And all you need to change your life and make a difference in other people's life, like I was saying, at least in the case of Dylan, is just a sunstone, which you could just find for $24.99 at your local Best Buy. Actually, no, I'm just kidding. Don't go look for one there because you're not gonna find it. But Yeah, overall, fantastic issue. Could not be happier. Congratulations, Ryan, Michael, everybody in the Massiveverse, Zay Carlos, Raul, everybody involved with the issue. You guys did an incredible job. I
And
can't
Nick
wait to see.
Cotton, you did a stellar job, blended in
Oh yeah,
perfectly. I couldn't tell
Got
like the difference. I assumed he was helping with the timey-wimey stuff, but like this just felt flawless. It felt like everyone working as one in this issue.
Nick Cotton's actually Ornit. Like that's actually the trick. He's the
It's
one that's
based on him.
Ornit. He's the Ornit to Ryan's Ryan. So so yeah, then no, I'm just kidding. So that was awesome overall. Looking forward to more. I really can't even begin to fathom what they're gonna or maybe even think about what they're gonna do next
But we saw
for
you, and we know that Ornate is obviously Nathan Burnett. It's right there in
I
the name.
know, dude. I
So,
can't wait for Ornate's next appearance. Like, really cool character, very mysterious. So, and gonna
yeah.
come back with a vengeance. You know, as he had a very like, if you're reading the current Thor by Donny Cates, like the very Donald Blake ending for for
Mm.
Ornate. So he's gonna come
Blake,
back with a vengeance. You know.
Blake and Blake, and he's coming for your ass. No, but yeah, I can't. Yeah, I Thor's been interesting, but yeah, no, this is great.
Yeah.
Anxiously
Anyway,
waiting 8 and Dead Lucky next time, guys. Dead Lucky 3.
yeah, Dead Lucky 3 for sure. And because of the delays, we won't get our next issue of Rogue Sun 8. So Rogue Sun 8 is not until November 23rd, for those of you wondering. And then Dead Lucky, the reason we're pushing out the review is because we wanted to be a little bit closer to the next issue, just so people don't forget what happened, and ourselves included. And so the next issue of Dead Lucky is November 30th, so you could expect our episode to drop, probably a week from today, probably November 7th, something like that. But anyway,
What about the next Radiant Black?
Rex Rating Black, I haven't checked about that. Let's see. The next rating is it 20? Is that the next one?
20 or 19?
I think it's 19. Yeah,
I think
19.
it's 19, yeah.
Yeah. So let's see. Radiant Black number 19. The next one's November 9th. So that's in
Okay, it's like a week and a
yeah.
couple days.
Yeah.
All right.
Like
Not too bad.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so yeah, Radiant Black trade paperback 4. They've shown the cover, beautiful cover. We've got the Patton Oswald pull quote this time. I mean, the pull quotes have been pretty insane.
Yeah, the
So
series was patent pending for a while, but we got its approval. We're good.
yeah,
I'm excited about that.
2-in-1. That's the name of this volume 4, 2-in-1. So that's a minor spoiler, obviously, but well, a big spoiler. If you listen to the pod, you probably know what it is. So
It's more than two. It's at least 4-in-1. I mean, we got the robot and we got 001. So it's a throuple at the very least. Plus one.
the cover for 22 dropped, and Radiant Black 22, and we're getting what's his name, Eduardo Fregato, back on artist duties for Radiant
Oh,
Black. So that's very, very exciting. I'm personally very excited. I love Eduardo. So yeah. Radiant Black number 22. We got In and Out on the cover, on the Hollywood sign. Doesn't get more California than that. And the solicit for that reads, Nathan left Los Angeles with $40,000 in credit card debt, no job prospects, and no superpowers. 18 months later, with $40,000 in credit card debt, no job prospects, and a superpowered secret identity that he shares part-time with his best friend, he's going back. So I wonder. I mean, that's crazy. I'm not gonna get into it right now because we'll probably talk about it forever. And I feel like we'll have more clarity after we read Reading Black number 19 because that's one of like 4 issues behind this solicit. But I wonder how that's gonna work out with him going back to California, considering the whole they're splitting the rating and everything. Thanks everyone for joining us today. We'll see you next time for our review on Dead Lucky 3 and probably our interview with Mike of TF1G Mike. So stay tuned for that. Thanks
and thanks
everyone.
for joining us on this adventure.
Yeah.